All right, there we go. I think we are on live. I am Krista Inakovsky. This is the Audacious Goals webinar. I'm so happy that you're here. Just check your sound, make sure that to get the best running webinar, you want to shut down pretty much everything else. Make sure you don't have Facebook or anything else that draws a lot of data. That'll give you the clearest and best picture. If any time we get stuck, you can just, I think there's a refresh button down in the corner. You can do that, and we are going to have some fun today. I'm very excited. Just to let you know, I'm going to, this whole thing should wrap up in about 45 minutes, definitely no longer than an hour. I particularly am not a fan of these 2-hour webinars. Who has time for that, right? So I'm going to give you as much content and information as I can in the next 45 to 60 minutes to really get you going, get you excited, and we can take it from there. I recommend you grab a pencil and paper so that you can write down some notes. I want this to be interactive. This webinar is a version of my live workshop that I do, and I gotta say, I love being in front of people live because I get to see your expression and hear you talk back, and I like to be interactive, so this is a little bit different for me. So I'm just going to imagine that you're nodding and into it and answering back, so go ahead and talk to me and I'll pretend that I can hear you. And make notes. Anything you want to talk to me about later or write me a question, feel free to do that and email me. That'd be awesome. I would love to hear from you. All right, so before we jump into audacious goals and what that means, I figured I better tell you just a little bit about me in case we don't know each other personally or you don't really know my backstory, which is kind of interesting. So I studied my whole life or my whole childhood, I should say, to become a professional dancer. And I did. From the age of 15, I started performing on TV, traveling around the world, doing stages, all sorts of things, and it was amazing. That opened its doors for me doing a lot of MC, narration, commercial, print work, you name it. I have done a lot in the entertainment industry, which has really gave me some awesome exposure. Now, it's funny, I was just, this just came to me, that I've been using the words full out. I've got it in my promo pieces. I talked about it in the intro video to this webinar, saying to live full out and live to your potential. And I realized that you might not use that word full out, but as a dancer, as a performer, that's what we call it when you give it your all. And I really, thinking back, loved those times where you're completely exhausted, you've already done a show or a run and it's time to do it again, or they need another take, or it's 100 degrees outside and whatever the conditions are, and you've got to give 100% and give full out. And I love that feeling of doing that, of giving everything that I have to the audience, and that reward of being exhausted but still doing it. And I want to have that same feeling and encourage you to have that feeling in what you're doing in your life now. And so that's where the term full out it comes from, and I'll keep using it, so at least now you know what I'm talking about. So throughout all of those years of performing, I also continued to study. I have a business degree from the University of Central Florida. I have a real estate sales associate license that I've had for well over 12 years. I have a financial services license. I am a financial expert in the areas of whole life, permanent life, annuities. So I have a very diverse background because I love to learn. I also love health and wellness, which has been a big part of my dancing career. And I am been certified to teach and have continued to teach at least a class or two a week for years and years. I'm certified to teach Pilates and yoga and multiple types of group exercise. So that's a lot of different things going on. And to tell you the truth, I used to not really talk about all of those different things. I would just kind of stay focused on the topic at hand, especially when I was in financial services and doing financial consulting. Specifically, I felt like people wouldn't get it or understand being a former dancer or you teaching yoga and Pilates, or all of these different elements that I have. And I've decided, forget it. That's who I am. And I tell you to embrace all of the things that make up you, you also. We're talking about a lifetime, lots of years here. And I'm the type of person who loves to do things, and I love to teach what I know and teach what I love to inspire and encourage you to live out, full out, to be healthy, to go after your dreams. That's just who I am. And if you are a multifaceted person as well, who's had maybe different careers or are trained in different types of professions, embrace all of it, because that's who you are and that makes you special. And that's what I'm doing now. And it's a lot more fun and empowering to be a full, complete person than it is to try to fit into one particular niche. So I'm already teaching lessons right here as I'm giving you my background and history. So one other key element I wanted to mention about who I am is I've been married for a long time. I met my husband when I was 20, so we've been together for ages, and he is a very smart man with a also financial background, which is why I ended up in the direction that I did. As a wealth strategist, he worked with some of the most wealthy individuals in the country. He's business, all of these things. So I'm just telling you this to say that all along throughout my adult lifetime, I've been heavily exposed to and involved in different types of businesses, understanding economics, the economy, what it means for retirement planning, the mess that our country is in, the challenges that it takes to become financially stable, let alone financially abundant or rich or prepared for retirement. All of these things really take effort and focus, and we can't just hope or have luck. So with that, setting the stage, I'd like to jump into what goals are, what they mean to you. And while I'm switching over to my slides, I'd love for you to jot down on a piece of paper some of the goals that you're working on. New Year's is a great time where people write down their goals. It wasn't all that long ago. Just think back, what are some of the things that you thought you'd work on, or what are your goals? Oh, I was going to show you a video. I will. It's a minute. Hang in there. 1 minute video. And this is what I've been up to now. So this is the fun that I have been having of, here we go. So now that I have decided to combine all of who I am, this is what I have come up with. And I do video broadcasts, I do video series, I've written an ebook. This is my partner, Dr. Jada Jackson. We have a company called Happily Ever Wealthy, where we look at the mindset, the skill set of what it takes to become financially savvy. And that is really what I've been doing. You can see I've been featured on news broadcasts, Fox 35, lots of different shows. As much as I can get out there and encourage people to understand and be empowered to understand their finances, confidence around money, that is what I've been up to and having a lot of fun doing it. There you go. Hope you enjoyed that, because I made that video and I wanted to share it. I think it's a good way to kind of put it all together in perspective and see what has been going on in the life of Krista. All right, so on to the Audacious Goals workshop. There we go. That's it. So I want you to know that only you can decide who you will become. And that should be very empowering to know that it's all up to you. And at the same time, take on the responsibility that it is up to you to decide who you become and what you think about. So as you're jotting down your goals, just think about this. The goal is It's an object of your ambition, your desired result. It's what you're trying to do or achieve, the end, your intention and endeavor. And the act of goal setting is a powerful process for thinking about your ideal future and for motivating yourself to turn your vision of this future into reality. The process of setting goals helps you choose where you want to go in life. And the most important benefit to setting goals isn't necessarily achieving the goal itself. It's what you do and the person that you become in order to achieve your goal. That's the real benefit. Goal setting is powerful because it provides focus and it shapes our dreams. It gives you the ability to hone in on the exact actions that you need to perform to get the life that you desire. So that is why we are here talking about goals today. So why the word audacious, Krista? It's not a very commonly used word, and you might even think of it as negative, but it's completely not. I mean, look at these words. This is what audacious means. Bold, daring, fearless, brave, a daredevil, plucky, that's kind of cute, valiant, heroic, gutsy, venturesome, courageous. I've never even heard the word skookum, but hey, try to use it in a sentence today. Ballsy, and it is the absolute opposite of timid. When I look at these words, they're colorful. I mean, these are bright, colorful words that make me think of a knight in shining armor and an adventure story or a fairy tale. And I want you to think about being your own knight in shining armor with your own story and your fairy tale that is exciting. So pick out the words that you like best that really fit and connect with you and write those down. We're going to have to amplify the goals that you have now to become audacious. Because let's face it, if you look at the goals that you wrote down, how many are like the big, huge ones, and how many are really, honestly, just your supporting goals? Most likely they're supporting goals, and that's fine, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Audacious goals are the ones that you may have only 1, 2, or 3 in your whole lifetime. It's that big picture that you're reaching towards and that you're going to have to grow and change and learn and be a bit scared that you may not make it, but that's what we want to be working on. So here are some things that we're going to be talking about that will amplify your current goals to make them these big ones that we're talking about. Knowing your why, having a clear vision, a commitment, focus, confidence, giving yourself permission to think and be this big, having tenacity, the belief in yourself, the desire to do it. We'll talk about how to utilize a mastermind group to support your goals. You need faith, a willingness, courage. We'll definitely dive into the mindset, taking action, having that kick-ass mindset, and being willing to revise your plan over and over again. This is my lovely daughter, Farah, in Prague, making a wish, and it just makes me think that there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. And you're not going to be ready to receive it unless you believe that it's possible. You have to believe that it's possible. And there's a state of mind of belief that's so much greater than hoping and wishing. And we have to be open-minded for that belief. So think about this. Are your goals too small? How can we blow them up, making them bigger? And how can you begin to see in yourself the belief and the possibility that it is possible? Now, I want to introduce you to my boyfriend. Well, maybe he would have been if this was 1930. This is Napoleon Hill, and I'm going to be referencing some of his work. So I wanted to introduce you, in case you're not familiar with Napoleon Hill. One of his most famous writings is called Think and Grow Rich. And he's really quite fascinating and was given an amazing, I'm going to come back and talk to you for a minute. Hi there. All right. He was given an amazing task. This was in the early 1900s. So think about what was happening then. The Depression and the Industrial Revolution. So there's a lot going on between the haves and the have-nots. And it took a lot for someone to become a millionaire at that point, for sure. It's hard enough now, but think about it in the early 1900s. So Andrew Carnegie commissioned Hill with the task of interviewing 500 millionaires to find out what is that secret formula, the secret to success. What do they all have in common that we normal people can utilize and tap into? So that sent Napoleon Hill off on really an adventure of a lifetime. He got to be friends with, talk with, interview, research familiar names such as Wrigley, Schwab, Ford, Roosevelt, Bell. He was the advisor to 2 presidents. I mean, this guy dove into headfirst what it means to be successful and analyzed and researched and looked and said, what is it? What makes one person successful over another? Is it their pedigree? Is it the way they were raised? Were they fortunate enough to have a good family? Was it their education, the caliber of school that they went to, the designations that they got? Maybe it's their personality or charisma. So what do you think it is? Think about that for a sec as I switch over again. I really love Napoleon Hill's way of thinking. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sharing it. It wouldn't be a part of my teachings right now if I didn't love his approach. But he says here that imagination is the workshop of your mind, capable of turning energy into accomplishment and wealth. So the imagination, he's saying it all begins with imagination. And I love that. And I think it's definitely a topic to be brought up, which is why I am bringing it up and talking about it and teaching it, because I feel like imagination is kind of getting pushed to the side these days because we're so bombarded with information. We don't give ourselves enough quiet time to explore our imagination. So let's think about what that would be. As I asked just a minute ago, what do you think is the most important factor for the formula of success? And here we go. Drum roll, please. This is what Napoleon Hill found out of all of those different things, talking to all of those different people. What was the one thing that they had in common? And it is desire. Desire is the starting point of all achievement and the first step of riches. Desire is not a hope or a wish, but a keen, pulsating desire which should transcend everything else. It's definite, a consuming obsession of life, a burning desire. Oh my gosh. So when I first came upon this and learned about it, I had to freak out for a minute and said, whoa, I don't think I have a burning desire for what I want. I'm more of a hope or a wish kind of girl. So as I began to ponder that, I thought about movies that have that inspirational guy that just goes after everything, and when it looks like nothing more can be done and is against all odds, and he keeps going and going and going and he makes it at the end. Who are these people that have that much desire inside of them that they'll stop at nothing? And I got a little jealous because, well, maybe it's because I have a nice life, a lovely childhood, a nice husband, a nice house, a nice family. Everything's just kind of nice. So my hope for more is just kind of like a light wish for more and not a burning desire. So I figured I must not be the only one. Do you have a burning desire? Napoleon Hill refers to a white heat of pulsating desire, fixated on what you want to accomplish. If you do, Congratulations. 1, 2, I'm jealous. 3, you're going to get there as long as you can stay focused. That's awesome. And for the rest of us that aren't quite at that level, do you think we can get there? Well, I decided I have to get there, because if that's the one key element to success is a desire above all else to achieve your success, then I need to find it. And that's in my quest and what I'm going to be sharing with you on how you can find it too. Sounds like fun, right? Back to the drawing board. Come here. There it is. Thank you. And next. All right, I have to just confess a little technical glitch here. I can't play the slideshow with all of the beautiful animation and transitions the way I made it, because the webinar system won't pick up on that. So this next one's going to look like a hot mess. Sorry, here we go. Oh gosh. So let me just get rid of that. That'll help. Okay, so these, in the perfect world, they come up one at a time, but they're not going to do that right now. So if we're going to start talking about desire, we want to ask why we want what we want. And we all have a desire to contribute to the world. So let's talk about not making your desire selfish, because I think it's hard to get excited about something that feels selfish, but instead get excited about how we're going to let this goal affect those around us and the world around us. So the exercise is, and you can jot this in your notes, but know that I will be offering to invite you to a group that I'm doing, the Audacious Success Mastermind group. And there we're going to dive into all of these things in much more depth, one at a time, spaced out, so we can really explore them. But for today, just kind of write down, why do you want what you want? What does your life look or feel like? And who will be affected? And how will they be affected? And once you can dig into that and do the exercises that go along with this, this is just kind of the start of it, that's going to help us identify our burning desire. So before I jump on to the next part, I wanted to offer up the suggestion, if you don't have something that's jumped out of you and saying, this is my burning desire, such as, I want to take my company global, I want to be the first so-and-so to do whatever. If you have those types of goals, then that's amazing, and I can't wait to meet you and talk to you and support you in going after those. For those of you who are a little bit more on the nice, polite, neutral, wanting more but not quite identifying that, I want to just bring up for today, what if your audacious goal was to be rich? Rich. Can you say it? Just say, repeat, you're maybe home alone, or I don't know where you are, having lunch in your office, watching. Just repeat after me. I am rich. Now say it however you want to say it. I am rich. I am rich. You can try, I am wealthy. I am financially abundant. How does that feel? Or jot it down, send me a note. I want to know, how does it feel when you say, I am rich? Chances are it's stirring up something. Something inside you might have a red flag going off, going, I'm not supposed to want to be rich. When I first started doing this exercise, because this is a part of the process that I'm sharing with you, is stating what you want. When I first said I am rich, it felt like a lie. I didn't own it. It did not feel comfortable. It felt like, you are a big fat liar, Krista, because clearly you're not rich. So why are you saying that? That's what was going on in my mind. Some of the ladies at the workshop when I was live were saying that when they said it, they had these red flags going off, going, oh, but I'm not supposed to want to be rich. I should be happy with what I have. If I want to be rich, then can I also be grateful for what I have? And I think I need to focus on just my gratitude before I can even think about being rich. So not to say none of these are wrong. This is what's happening. This is where we are. And so think about this. If you are growing a business, you want to be successful, well, a result of your success is going to be the earning of a lot of money, right? So yeah, if I'm going to do well in my job or in my business, then yes, I should want to be rich. But if we're holding on to any type of negativity, negative mindset, negative perception about other people who are rich, what it means to be rich, what it means to desire to be rich, if any one of those, if you're holding on to negative thoughts about them, now we have a disconnect. Can you see that? You're striving to grow your business, to do well in your company, which should in turn attract money. But if you have something going on in your head that says, ooh, rich people are greedy, rich people aren't nice, I shouldn't desire that because then I'm not grateful, I should be happy with what I have. Any of these types of conversations are going in your head. Can you see how it had this push-pull disconnect of setting a goal and then not achieving it because this is holding you back? So this is the premise, or one of the premises, that I'm exploring and will continue to explore in the group that joins me for the Audacious Success Mastermind, because this is interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. At least that's what I think, and I'd love to explore it more with you. So we're going to talk about what some roadblocks are. Because even once you identify, this is my goal, this is what I want, this is what I'm going after, you don't just run and get it, right? Because, there's a lot of things that stand in our way. And let's take a look and let you mark down some of the things that stand out to you personally. And here we go. Roadblocks. Fear of so many things. Fear of not being liked, fear of being criticized, fear of putting yourself out there. Stopping. So you start something and then you stop. You quit too soon. The plan isn't working, and so you throw the whole thing out. Multitasking, not being focused, indecision, procrastination, limiting beliefs, a lack of commitment, listening to naysayers, uncertainty, negative self-talk. If you have any else that are jumping out to you, write those down. Any on this list that is speaking to you, go ahead and write those down also. And I study neuroscience as well, so I wanted to share this with you because I find it very interesting. Neuroscience reveals that when we set goals outside of our comfort zone, which really everything, a goal has to be outside of our comfort zone, right? Because if we were already doing it, it would be a goal. So every time we try to improve ourselves, to improve our circumstances, that ignites an area of the brain called the amygdala, and it begins to fire off because you're outside your comfort zone. And the body absorbs that as fear. So when the amygdala goes off, your body senses fear and begins to shut down and draws you back to your natural set point. Now, we all have our natural set points of, jump back over here. We all have natural set points in different things, from our weight to our risk tolerance to how we feel about money, how much money we have or don't have. There's these set points, like a thermometer or a default switch, that's different for everyone. So for some, it is much more difficult to change the shape of your body, or take bigger risks, or have more money. And every time we set a goal to go beyond what our natural set point is, boom, the amygdala is like freaks out, sends fear, and it pulls you back in. And there's something that's called neurodissonance, where it's this push-pull, where I want to grow, I want to get bigger, but the other part of your brain is pulling you back in. And I use the illustration of the lady in the convertible, because think of a car. You're in a race car and you've got one foot on the accelerator, just going for it. You're like, that's my goal, I'm going to do it. We get all pumped up, go, go, go. And then boom, the brake goes on from your brain. So you've got this accelerator, brake, accelerator, brake. Is this ringing true to anybody right now? Yes, it does. It has to me too. So I want you to, first of all, we recognize what's going on so you don't get so hard on yourself. And then we're able to begin to work through the process of changing that. And fabulous results or studies have shown in neuroscience that there's something called neuroplasticity, and that proves that we can change the brain structure based on our thoughts, and we essentially, meaning we can reprogram. So we don't have to stay stuck in what our brain developed as a child or even generations back, depending on your beliefs, of these limiting beliefs, but we can consciously change the thought patterns to change the way the brain processes. So that's great news. We just have to put that into action and make it happen. Dun, dun, dun. And we are doing great here, moving right along. A head full of fears has no space for dreams. And this one, I'm just showing you that if you think about your thoughts as a waterfall, they should just naturally flow like water does from the top down. And what we want should just happen, but unfortunately it doesn't. Our own blocks is what gets in the way of the water flowing down. And so again, it goes back to having to address the blocks appropriately. Now, this is a great picture, and I love to spend some time, but I'm going to make it a little bit briefer today. Look at this guy. Holy cow. What's he doing? What is he up to? What's his goal? So the goal is a couple of things. A, like, don't fall off. B, get to the other side. And it's really, the picture's a beautiful analogy for all that we're talking about. One, this is his audacious goal. This is not his only goal. He has set small incremental goals all along the way that he had to achieve that have led up to this point in his life. Now, do you think when he stepped out onto the rope that he was just interested in getting across? I don't think so. Interested is really not enough at all. This guy has to be 100% committed. I don't know that much about tightroping walking, but I'm pretty sure you can't go backwards. And he certainly can't go down. So he's fully committed to getting across the rope to the other side. Now, when I look at the picture carefully, the fog is so thick that I don't think that he can actually see where he hit those final steps. He knows the direction that he's going, but he's having to walk in faith, one foot in front of the other, making each tiny step a goal. I would also imagine that this man has visualized this walk over and over and over. In his mind's eye, he has done this walk 1,000 times, and he's made it every single time. He never envisioned himself falling or anything less than perfection happening. And so as he gets out there, he has already seen his success, and he's going for it. So the life-changing question that I'm asking you today is this. Are you interested in achieving your goals, or are you committed? And you have to decide, because until you're committed, you're never going to get that burning desire, right? So interested is not enough. You need to find a place inside yourself where you feel fully committed with a burning desire to succeed. And that leads me to the trifecta to success. And this is something that I put together and been teaching for several months now, that really a culmination of all of these different resources, different experts, different places that I've been learning and studying, and put it together and seeing what works for people and what doesn't. And what I've realized is that we need all three of these components of the trifecta: your mindset, your skill set, and action steps have to be working in harmony, synergistically all the time to amplify your chance of success to reach your goals. And I see some people trying to do one or two without the third, and it just doesn't work. We're not just hoping or wishing or making vision boards and saying positive affirmations for financial abundance or to be rich without actually adding in knowledge and action steps and a plan to get there, right? Can you see what the difference is? So let me talk you through each three, and that will kind of sum up our presentation today, is mindset. Starting with mindset, this is your chance to believe in you with emotion, with faith, and visualize. Now, Napoleon Hill talks about the importance of visualization and that you need to visualize yourself having already achieved your audacious goal with the belief that you can do it, and then mix that with faith and emotion. All that has been emotionalized, meaning you've given it feeling, and mixed with faith, that's what begins to translate itself into its physical equivalent or counterpart. It's like blah, blah, blah. What did that just mean? What I mean is that what we think about, we bring about, and that thoughts are things. And the way that we can take something that's just a hope or a wish and make it stronger is to see ourselves having succeeded and having it, being in possession of it. Not just the money itself, but who you have become in order to gain those financial resources. Who are you now? Who else is with you? How big is your team? Who else is affected? And believe that you can, but you have to mix it with emotion. Now, the subconscious mind makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. Faith is a state of mind induced by autosuggestion. So, I will be diving way deeper into this in the Audacious Success Mastermind group. We don't have time to get into the real meat of it. But what we're talking about here is autosuggestion is a way of reprogramming the subconscious mind, switching from the negative thought patterns and replacing it with something positive. But here's the key that I was just referring to on that slide, is you can't just say it unless you feel it and emotionalize it. Because think about it, we receive information all day long. We get things that we have to read, we read the news, we hear commercials, we see things on the internet, and if everything we read, we believed, we would really be a hot mess, right? So in order to really let the subconscious mind and the brain, everything, accept that information as new information that you want it to process, we have to emotionalize it. So it's putting on a happy face and being like, oh, I am rich, and being grateful for that. And here's the thing, that can be really awkward for some people, right? It doesn't happen right away. I think of it as, I compare it to exercising. If I just took somebody who's out of shape and said, go into plank pose where you're on your hands, on your elbows and feet in a sideways position, and said, all right, we're going to start by doing plank for 3 minutes. Not going to happen, right? You might start with 15 seconds and then 30 seconds and eventually build up the stamina. Well, same thing that we're going to be doing is an exercise program, essentially, for our brain, as far as the visualization, having focus, having concentration, right? We're not used to focusing on one thing for more than like 5 seconds, it seems. I bet you're doing something else right now besides just watching this, right? Yes, I know, I'm not offended. Multitasking is what we do, but we need to find time throughout our day to get rid of everything else and learn how to focus again, if we ever learned how to focus at all. We have to focus, visualize, and then pair that with the belief. And it's a process. It's not difficult, but it will take some getting used to. So this is what is kind of wrapped around this first area of the trifecta, the mindset, reprogramming this negative talk, the self-sabotaging beliefs, and begin to replace those with positive affirmations, visualizations of what you want, who you want to be, and how you're going to get there. Actually, the how is not nearly as important as seeing that end result. All right, I got to move on. I can't wait to talk about this in more depth with everybody. So moving on, and go. There are no limitations to the mind except those that we acknowledge. Love that. All right, so part 2 of the trifecta is your skill set. This is knowledge, education, planning, and yes, mastermind. There are 2 types of knowledge. We have general knowledge, which is just kind of basic understanding of things, and specialized knowledge. And we need specialized knowledge. Everybody out there has some sort of specialty, whether it's teaching, social media, health, wellness, being an attorney, being a CPA, whatever your specialty is, that's what you know, and you know it very, very well. But to be complete in your business and complete in achieving your goal, you need other specialties that you don't have. And one way to tap into that is by becoming a part of an alliance, a small alliance of, I recommend 8 to 12 people, that's called a mastermind group. And it's a group where you can get together and share the resources of each other's specialized knowledge, as well as other things that I'll touch on in a minute. So just know that the knowledge on its own will not attract money or your goal. You have to organize it, intelligently direct it, put it through plans of action, have a definite end in mind, and back to that visualization and emotionalize it. So it's just a beautiful example of how the trifecta works. You have the knowledge, but it doesn't mean much of anything until you put it into action and have a vision of where you're going. So again, the mastermind is a way to gather specialized knowledge that you may need to get to your long-term or audacious goal, and you can bridge your weaknesses through a mastermind group, and then you're also able to give your specialty to others, and it's a beautiful way to do that. And I absolutely love it, because heck, let's face it, when we get into networking groups, it's all about putting on your game face and how great everything is so that you can sell. Mastermind group is completely different. That's where you get to be vulnerable, it's a more intimate setting, and really work on your goals and your progress. And this is where education turns into implementation and information turns into transformation. So our third and final step or piece of the trifecta are your action steps. You've got to take what you're visualizing and the knowledge that you have and put it into action, executing it, habits, the choices you make every day, being decisive, like knowing, boom, go for it. Know that you have to make changes. And that mastermind group is part of taking action, because when you're in the group, they're helping you see and keep you moving forward. Now, I could spend 20 minutes on this slide alone, but I won't, because we're trying to wrap up here. But just look at the picture. It's a gorgeous picture. You're standing right there looking at this tree in the road. Which way do you go? We have choices to make every single day, and we must realize that in order to get a new result, we have to be willing to change. So new choices, you got to change the choices that you're making to get a new result. And if you keep doing exactly what you've been doing yesterday and last month and last year and all of that, then you're just going to stay where you are. And I'm not saying that where you are is bad. You might be in a really great place. But yet, when you want to go even further and bigger and bolder and more audacious and gutsy, then know that you want to be making little additional changes of improvement in yourself towards that goal all the time. There's a huge difference between wanting to change and being willing to change. All right, that was beautiful when it comes in flying. I want you to think about committing to the journey, because the journey is an adventure. Life is an adventure, and we're committing to the journey. Yet, look at this part. I'm moving up here. There's nowhere to put it. The plan can change, and it will change. I mentioned in the beginning that the plan may change 10 or 50 times. Look at Edison as he was inventing the light bulb, or Steve Jobs. All of these people that we admire that have really made an impact in our world, they didn't change the goal, they changed their plan. And there will be faulty plans. And that's another reason to have a mastermind group that can help you identify, hey, you're not off on your goal, keep going. Your plan's a little faulty, let's adjust the plan and try something else. But always keep the goal steady and clear in mind. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. See, it's not failure, it's just temporary defeat. Maybe the plan failed, but you didn't fail. And sometimes you need people around you to remind you, you didn't fail, it's not you, it's the plan. We're going to change the plan, we're going to try again. You can do this. It's not that your goal is bad or that you're bad. It's just that we're going to tweak it and keep going. So a quick recap of what I've covered today. The trifecta to success. We talked about mindset, skill set, and action steps. Having a burning desire, focus, and vision. Asking if you're committed. Are you willing to make new choices and to change? And the importance of aligning yourself with a mastermind group. So, whew, that was awesome. I hope you've enjoyed it and have been taking notes. Now, to me, this is just the beginning and just the spark of something really exciting and amazing. As I have mentioned, I'm gathering up a group of people who want to take this at a deeper level, dive into where we kind of touched briefly, and spend time and give you time to process and work on these exercises, right? Knowledge is something you read a book and got it, boom, next. But there's a big difference between taking that knowledge and what it takes to implement it and actually allow it to change your life, change who you are so that you can reach your big, audacious goals, to live full out and live to your potential. So my invitation to all of you today is to respond and reply to me if you are interested in the Audacious Success Mastermind Group. We're going to be starting soon in about 2 weeks, and we'll meet twice a month virtually. So you don't have to worry about where you are. We're going to come together, and it's going to be a combination of coaching where I'm going to guide you with some exercises to do just exactly along the lines that we were talking about today. The visualization, the focus, writing out, getting clear on your audacious goals, overcoming the roadblocks, doing the process of reprogramming your subconscious mind into where you want it to go. So I'll be hitting on those things so we can follow through step by step together. And we're going to incorporate a mastermind where we have a chance to go one at a time and reveal what we're working on, where our blocks are, where we need some help and support, and let the rest of the group be involved to support you along the way. You are not in this alone, and you shouldn't be going at it alone. To keep momentum, to keep yourself going, this is where you need to be if this feels like the right fit for you. All right, the important part of a mastermind group is to have like-minded people with a common goal that really work well together. So again, I'm going to be following up with an email to you. I want you to get in some conversation with me if this is important to you and you see the value in this so that you can reach your goal, whether it is opening yourself up and allowing yourself to say, I want to be rich. I can be financially abundant. I can be wealthy. This is what I want and all that goes along with it. Or perhaps you already have something very specific in mind that you're working on. Let us come together and support one another to see those audacious goals through to the end, because it is way more fun to live full out and live to your fullest potential. I'm Krista Inakovsky. It has been my absolute pleasure to share this information, not just information, but I hope it sparks some transformation in you. I want you to be fired up and feel it and have that emotion connected to your goal and your vision to make it happen. So I'll be waiting to hear from you, get your response, and get it in quickly so I can give you the application and the remainder, the application and invitation with the details of what to expect in the Audacious Success Mastermind. See if it is a good fit for you. It is virtual, twice a month for 4 months. All right? I look forward to hearing from you. Go out there and live a life you love. I will see you very soon.